Hello and welcome to Cricketomania. Will MS Dhoni make it as captain of the next Test series that's about to begin in Nottingham, England? The question, of course, is to what extent will he perform and how will he perform given his track record of late and some of the questions that are being asked about his likely performance. I'm joined, of course, by our co-anchor Ayaz Memon, also joining us, cricketer Pravin Amre. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Ayaz, let me begin by asking the fundamental question, right? So, 26 victories of 53 matches, better than Ganguly, who had 21 victories from 49 matches. Why are we even asking the question?
Couple of things, Govind. I think obviously these two guys have been the most successful captains of India, and in a sense, Dhoni inherited a lot of what Ganguly achieved. More particularly, not just in the terms in terms of players. Obviously, some of the players continued with Dhoni, but in the changed attitude. Before Ganguly period in Indian cricket and after Ganguly,
right,
which starts from the way India started playing overseas,
right.
And that I think is going to be the big issue for Dhoni, or still is, despite his remarkable successes. His record overseas in Test cricket is poor.
Okay,
I'm avoiding using the word dismal, but it is really poor.
And why is that?
Because we haven't won anything overseas. He lost in England 4-0 last time. After that, we went to Australia. We lost 4-0 there. So playing overseas has not been very happy for Dhoni, and this is something that he needs to correct if he wants to go down as India's best captain ever.
Right, and the reason we are also discussing this is not just because of the England Test series that begins tomorrow, but it's also about the Australian Test series which comes after that, in which the performance of Dhoni in this series could be a determinant.
He was very close to losing his captaincy, Govind, when we lost to Australia 4-0.
Right.
So I think that the selection committee was divided. The board stuck by him, and of course after that he's had great. We beat Australia 4-0 at home.
Right.
So at home he's been a completely different captain. The team has been a completely different team. It's overseas that the challenge arises, and this year India are going to play England a 5-test series, then they play Australia a 4-test series, and then we lead into the World Cup.
Right. Okay, but where he's again had a good track record.
World Cup, he's had a good track record, but it's in India.
Right.
But he's done well in Champions Trophy in England, in World T20 Championships in South Africa. Limited overs cricket, I have no doubt that Dhoni stands, he's peerless.
Okay. But today we're talking about tests and where the test could go. Pravin, what's your sense? Will Dhoni deliver? Should we be concerned about how he could do or could not do in the coming test series?
Well, to be, I think for any captain, that present series is always important. And when you go abroad, I think the abroads are always important series, and for that matter, everybody remembers the way we played in England. But I think this is having said that, we also know about that Dhoni is that he know that knack to come back strongly, and maybe that this is the best chance because we know that England team is different right now. We are also like in the phase like we were like our youngster came. Now they are also settled. I'm talking about especially about batting basically. Now Virat, Pujaras, and now we can say Rahane also. So there are three batsmen are there who are settled, and of course Dhoni is there, and his contribution is so important to get that result. And first time we are ever going to play the 5 test matches. I think that's the best part for Dhoni, I will say, because there he will get that momentum, because in this particular series, the first couple of test matches are going to be very, very important. That's going to set the momentum, and I think that can be the decider.
So let's go into this a broad factor for a second, Pravin. You played 11 test matches, and I'm pretty sure some of them, though I don't have the data here.
100 on debut overseas against South Africa.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the difference? Why is that possibly Dhoni seems to be at a disadvantage on a foreign shore?
Well, as a player and as a captain, I think it's always a matter. Ayaz is there. See, all the praise and critics, they always there to, your performance is just the moment he said I got 100 in a foreign soil, because I think there is your not only your technique, but I think more than that technique, your temperament is tested. I think that's very important, and right now we can see that like whatever the Dhoni team got, I think it's a very talented team. I will say, question mark only is I can say is the bowling, because that can be very, very important to win the series. So even though you are a best captain, but if you are not able to get that 20 wicket, you become a different team. And for that, I think that's the area, the key concern is there, like to find out the bowlers who can give us and who can last for 5 matches. That can be a very important thing.
Okay. Right. So, Ayaz, there are 2 or 3 factors. One is Dhoni as cricketer, as a batsman, wicketkeeper. Second is Dhoni as captain playing on a foreign shore. And third is the rest of the team. Which in this mind would you place greater weightage as we go into this test series?
I think, Dhoni player and captain has become central to the whole issue. Govind, it's not easy being wicketkeeper, batsman and captain. He's actually a full-fledged all-rounder.
Yeah.
He's keeping wickets. He's on the field constantly.
Except bowler.
Except as a bowler. In fact, on the last tour of England, he even bowled because Zahir Khan broke down in the first test.
Yeah.
So, but how Dhoni shapes up, I think, as a batsman, he's given some indication. The statements he's given after landing in England is he admits. And one thing I like about him is his candor. He says, last time I was confused whether I should defend or attack. This time I'm going to play to my natural strength, which is attacking batsmanship. He also talked about how he captains a team. He says he draws on his experiences, but he's also very instinctive. So if the gut feeling is there that he must do something, he does it. I think last time when I was there in England when we lost, and then in Australia when we lost, he looked like little Bo Peep, a little boy who was lost because his biggest guns were not firing. Only Rahul Dravid fired in England, and virtually nobody fired in Australia except Virat Kohli towards the end.
So what's your weightage? I mean, we looked at 3 factors. Which of these are you said captain and player are almost synonymous.
Yeah, I think his personal form is going to be very crucial, but I think the way he leads his team, how much aggression he shows right from the start, is he carrying bad memories of the previous tour? I go by what Pravin said just now. England are under pressure. They've lost to Sri Lanka recently. They've had a churn in their team. They don't have Kevin Peterson. It's been driven by controversy.
Yeah.
But they've got a very good bowling attack, which we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
That's the imbalance. How do we correct it? What is the role that Dhoni is going to play there in choice of bowlers? Is he going to play 2 spinners, or is he going to, take that risk, include an extra fast bowler, maybe a Stuart Binney, go for broke?
Okay. So, Pravin, what are the factors according to you that will play a key role? You already touched upon bowling and the rest of the team as an important factor. You said that you were not sure about what Dhoni would react or how he would react given the kind of environment that is or would be prevalent in a foreign pitch like, let's say, Nottingham in England tomorrow. So, what are the other factors basically?
Well, as Ayaz said, like what Dhoni we will need as an all-rounder. Yes, the important will the captaincy will be very important. Like he's mentioning the gut feeling. The gut feeling is that whom he's going to back. And especially I'm talking about the bowlers because there will be very important that captain's confidence. And I think that can be wonder. We saw that Rohit Sharma's how he developed as an opener, one days also. So I think that time that's the role I think as a captain Dhoni is going to play because he's the one one of the senior captain who can back and who can read the game quickly. And England to come back strongly, it's important how start we have to judge these are the key bowlers who is going to deliver us. I think that's very important part Dhoni has to play because as we said, we know that his role is there also as a batsman going number 7 and getting those crucial runs because in England is always runs on boards are always matter because you never know the condition changes and then again that 200 runs also becomes very difficult to score. So it's important him as a backing his team. I will say even a batsman who is in form to give him that number and I think getting runs from that because in England is always runs are like a gold because any batsman we saw that even in the last series like Ayaz just now said like only Rahul Dravid deliver us even though we heard a big names in that particular series. So this young team who is in form we have to back them very thoroughly.
Okay, so I'm going to come to the general state of mind, the psychological side of the Indian team in a bit. But before that, what about batsmen, Pravin? I mean, how are we likely to fare there, apart from Dhoni, of course?
Well, as we know, like in England, also the role of openers are very, very crucial. And where there we got Gambhir there, we got a Vijay there, and Shikhar Dhawan. So I think they have to deliver because we saw even last year what matter was we never got a good start. And I think even though we got a big guns, we could not come in the game basically. And I think that's the big role openers going to have in England because their start is going to so crucial. And in fact, because then our middle order can take over like Virat and Cheteshwar Pujara. And I am taking the name of even Ajinkya Rahane because he got 100 abroad. So I think that's the crucial part. And not to forget, I think Dhoni because we know like how he batted in home, the way he got double 100. I think that's very important. If we can get that abroad, couple of hundred, that can be the bonus for the team.
Right. Are you talking about the one against Australia, the 224?
Yes, 224.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, Ayaz, what's your stance? Cricketers? I'm sorry, the batsmen in the cricket lineup.
So you know, one of the things which has happened on this tour is that we've gone with 18 players, which is an unusual number. Usually the squad is 15 or 16. Gone with 18. Sometimes it's a problem of plenty. So, for instance, your composition of the attack. Do you play Ishant Sharma? He's been struggling a bit, or do you take Pankaj Singh, or Ishwar Pandey?
Right.
Who do you play? So these, in a sense, it's a little bit of a happy dilemma. Many bowlers to choose from. Between the spinners, Ravichandran, Ashwin or Jadeja, it's a tough call, not easy. Ashwin has got a spectacular record at home and a pretty poor one overseas. Jadeja also not very good overseas, still young, learning, so it's a tough call there. Amongst the openers, Gautam Gambhir is knocking hard for a comeback. So should we play first two tests for continuity with Dhawan and Vijay, both of whom looking a little iffy? So these are problems that are confronting him. I think they'll take a call tomorrow. But I think what is important from Dhoni's point of view, and I think Pravin touched on that, is choosing the right players. You never know whether they're right till you choose them, but you have to back them. Because if it's a long series, 5 test matches, constant chop and churn could be a problem. So if you choose, for instance, Gambhir and Vijay or Vijay and Dhawan, then you must give them at least a couple of tests, because just getting into the first test, they may not find their bearings. That could be a problem.
But are you saying this because our track record in this has been not very good?
I think the tendency when we go overseas is we tend to be a little panicky, and because I think there's a pressure that the whole country wants them to win everything, and winning overseas is very difficult for the Indians because we don't play on those kind of pitches here at all.
Right, and are you also saying that the percentage or proportion of cricketers in this team who have not fared overseas, overseas, is higher than ever before?
There's a huge percentage of players who have not played overseas.
Okay, not played at all.
So not enough. Apart from Dhoni, Dhoni is the senior most at 31 years of age, or 32 today. So but I think what is happening, and I want to draw in Pravin here because this is an interesting thing, Govind. You might not know it, but he has been coaching Robin Uthappa. Robin Uthappa was lost. It seemed that he had gone beyond the pale. He's come back so strongly through the IPL,
and he shares his coach with Sachin Tendulkar.
So he's come back. We've got this concept now of a personal coach for a batsman. But Robin Uthappa is looking a completely transformed batsman. Pravin, what have you done? Apart from, is it tightening of the technique, or is it about the mind, or is it a combination of the two? What's worked for Robin? Because he looks in sublime form.
Well, for coming for Robin, I will say it was a different, I think, out of box thing. He decided to come as the personal coaching in cricket. I will say like it's only happened in a tennis, but it come to personal coaching in cricket to it's a different total, because this game is always a team game. So it was new idea, and it wasn't easy for both of us when we started 2 years back. People always question about it, like what is going to help, because as a coach, it was a lot of responsibility on me, because this guy is already played for country. Now 5 years he was out of Indian team, and then it's career at the stake, because that was very, very crucial point of his career. But I was, and he was convinced that we need to work on there. So actually we gone down first year, but after that, when he really worked on his batting technique, I think that comeback came very strongly. I think he became more confident, and let me tell you that it was really, really hard work of Robin. To give advice is one thing, but to go and implement, there are a lot of painful things, because in a cricket, if you corrected someone's grip, it takes a lot, because you imagine like someone who was holding bat for last 17 years, and you have to change that. It's a lot of courage for that player, because your different muscle already is now starting using. So a lot of pain comes on that particular muscles, and to get used to of that thing is particularly tough first year. But he understand very quickly that this is the way he wanted to go. Even though it will take 3 years also, he was ready to take that chance, because he started enjoying the way he was playing with the correct technique. And in fact, it's nothing but it's a simple logic. As a batsman, ball is going where you want to hit, and it started happen more oftenly in that case.
Okay. So the reason why I raise this issue, Govind, is interestingly, the Indian team which is now in England playing with Dhoni, there are quite a few players like Robin Uthappa who don't, not like Robin Uthappa in the sense they don't have a personal coach and they certainly don't have Pravin Amre.
Yeah.
But Gautam Gambhir, been part of the Indian team, one of the leading batsmen, dropped out, faded away almost. He's come back. Can he come good? Pankaj Singh, fast bowler on the fringes for the last 7-8 years. Ishwar Pandey has been knocking on the door of Test cricket for a while. So there are quite a few of these guys. The bench strength of India is also very good. The India A team is now currently in Australia. You got somebody like Naman Oja who's made a double 100.
Yeah.
Manoj Tiwari, who's been around for some almost 8-9 years, is captaining the team. The point is, you're flush with talent, but can you, when you play for India, wear that cap, the blue cap, and play overseas, can you make or actualize that potential?
Right.
That's the big challenge for this team, because there's no Dravid, there's no Tendulkar, there's no Lakshman, there's no Zahir Khan, there's no Harbhajan Singh.
So what's the challenge then for Dhoni? I mean, is it?
The challenge for Dhoni is pretty much like what happened with Saurav Ganguly in 2000. He had a Tendulkar with him. He had a Dravid, he had a Lakshman, but he punted, he backed players like Sehwag, Yuvraj Singh, Harbhajan Singh, Zahir Khan. They came, they kind of, they were teetering a bit. Some of them lost their places. He backed them, they came back, and they made this great team, come alive for him. I think that's the big thing awaiting Dhoni. He is under pressure, personally, as a captain, how to perform overseas, but he's also got the opportunity to create a terrific team starting with this tour.
Right. Okay. So Pravin, how do you read this? What is the one key thing that Dhoni has to master? I mean, we sort of touched upon this in the beginning too. We said, okay, cricketer, player, captain. It seems to me now, as our discussion has progressed, that the way he selects the team, the way he retains them and backs them for more than one test is what is going to decide the outcome of this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we need him not only as just a batsman, but I think as a skipper. Ayaz was spot on, because the way Saurav Ganguly was there, who backed. I can take one more name. Was Ashish Nehra. The way he backed that particular bowler, it was so important. And maybe that's sometimes it's whatever happened, it happened for a good. We can get a future stars also in that. Who can back by the good captain, and who knows that Bhuvneshwar Kumar can come up strongly. He can get highest wicket taking in this particular series, because these conditions can help for that type of bowlers. So yeah, coming back to, because I want to just share, like, sometimes you are in a trouble. Ayaz was there. I was a part of that India team against England, especially in Calcutta, where Mohammad Azharuddin was in a lot of pressure in that particular series, and as a player and as a captain. But he came back with that, unbelievable 175. He played that Eden Garden. I was at that non-striker. I just, in that 100-run partnership, I only got 10. But I think sometimes this is our special place. They can deliver us, and I think that's what we can hope as a captain and as a batsman. We can produce some brilliant innings or also some brilliant decisions. I think that can be happen, because so many times you got so many good and quality players. You tend to play safe. But now you have to take the chance, rather calculative risks you have to do, and sometimes it works.
So what's the one risk that you would like Dhoni to take, or she should be taking, in order to show greater hold or grip over this series?
I would like him to take all the risks. I mean, not be reckless. Because in 2011, what happened, and this is in hindsight, everything is 2020, but when I look back, India was the #1 ranked team in the world. They had achieved that the hard way under Dhoni. We were the World Cup champions. Having won the World Cup, he won there. So I think he became very conscious of what all he was defending, rather than going out there and trying to win authoritatively.
Right.
And in the first test, unfortunately for him, Zahir Khan, the spearhead of the attack, broke down after taking 2 early wickets. Would the fate of the series have been different had Zahir played throughout? Who knows? But as it happened, England from 2 down very early, first morning, they recovered. And I think the other crucial factor there was the Sachin Tendulkar looking good, got off to a good start, then gets bogged down. That's the wicket England want. It's a psychological game. Ultimately, cricket, as Pravin will tell you, is played more in the mind than it's played on the field. So those 2 factors, and suddenly Dhoni was confronted with this fact that, hey, my batsmen are not clicking, my main bowler has gone. Can I save all the tests and go back home? Save the #1 ranking, save the series. The minute you start thinking like that, you're up for a mighty fall.
So here's a question. I've been forgetting to take questions. Sesha says, the last time we had an experienced team, but we lost with a less experienced team, do we stand a chance?
Yes, that's what I mean. Look at what happened in 1971. The first time we beat England. Nobody expected us to beat England. We had a host of youngsters, Solkar, Vishwanath, Gavaskar, you know, and even the main spinners, Bedi, Chandra and all were in their mid-20s. They were not very senior pros. There was no Durrani, there was no Jaisema, you know, Sardesai was there. We beat them. In 86, that was a very good team. So we had Gavaskar, Amarnath, we beat them in 86. 2007, we won the series under Rahul Dravid. Zahir Khan and Dhoni himself played extremely well. He was a youngster then. I think the fact that this is a young team means it's carrying less baggage.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the senior pros last time were carrying hefty baggages. I mean, Tendulkar had played for 22 years. So too Lakshman, 10, 12, 15 years. And they just seem to hit the, you know, poor form almost simultaneously. Apart from Dravid, who was brilliant, nobody else performed. And if your big guns don't perform, then everybody else starts kind of feeling the pressure. Right. This time, your biggest gun is only one, that is Dhoni.
Okay. Right. Let's address the last point before we close. Pravin, you know, finally, it's all about, as Ayaz also pointed out, the mind. What's the state of the mind today of the Indian cricket team? I mean, I'm not just talking about the physical, I mean, the cricketing side of it, but also there's been issues here back home. There's controversies. There are concerns. And all of that, and of course, as you said, that, you know, playing on a foreign pitch sometimes can be even more exacting for you know, for psychological reasons. So what's the, I mean, how's the team set today? How could they cope, and is this where they could make their biggest mistakes?
Well, to me, is always in cricket. It's a mind. It's a 80% mind. I think when you play the Test cricket, it's not just only your skill and the fitness, but it's a 80% mind. And to coming back to this, I think to be honest, I think this is a great opportunity for youngsters, because they have nothing to lose, because these are the best opportunities for them to cement their places there. So many players are still hungry to be noticed. I'm talking about Ajinkya, and that's because 100 is not enough for them to settle down in the team. Same with the Pujara, who had a last South Africa tour wasn't great for him. So they are all, even Shikhar Dhawan, who started brilliantly, but again, his runs are due. Rather, his runs are very important for his career, because that's the reason maybe selectors are put third opener there, who got that competition, that whoever delivers, who is going to stay. So I think that's the best part. Virat is going to play a bigger role, because on this wicket, with this attack, I think he can be developed again a real big gun, who can, after Dhoni, can be a big gun once if he deliver in this particular series. So there are so many positives. I think there's the best opportunities are there as a batting unit, I will say. Same thing with as a bowlers also, because as we know that the spinners are not going to have a big role, but there are a lot of medium pacers who can make their career in this particular series if they come back with lots of wickets in their tally. So I think that's a great opportunity, we can say, and where Dhoni, whom he backs, is going to be very important.
Back to the maestro, the man who is going to conduct this whole orchestra, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's the pivotal guy. I mean, Virat Kohli, to my mind, is perhaps the best batsman in the world. AB de Villiers could be the one guy a little ahead of him across formats. Cheteshwar Pujara, most promising. Ajinkya Rahane, you know, he's coming good. Now he's got the confidence of playing in Test matches. Rohit Sharma,
bunch, as Pravin also said.
Hungry, and Rohit Sharma, extremely gifted. This is the opportunity for him to show that he can thrive and make runs in all conditions, in all situations. A 5-test series is a great heaven-sent opportunity. A challenging situation for Dhawan, Murli Vijay, and of course Gambhir wanting to come back. So these are guys who have been around for a while, are not what you would call the Lakshman, Dravid, Ganguly, Tendulkar class, obviously. But this could be a stepping stone to going ahead further in, you know.
And you're saying psychologically they're 50-50, or is there more against them right now?
I have a lot of time for players like Virat Kohli, Dhoni apart, who are very positive, who are very gung-ho, who play to win. He loves to dominate. If his attitude is infectious, then I think this Indian team will go out very strong and very aggressive.
Right. And you're saying that Dhoni too is in a reasonable state of
I love what he said. Yes, he's made it categorical that he made a mistake while batting the last time in England when he was not aggressive enough, which also implies that perhaps as a captain he was not aggressive enough, because when you've just taken a defensive position, then you are you're on the back foot.
Right. As we've run out of time, Pravin, thank you very much. We've got a very exciting test series coming up in England, one that will test the mettle of MS Dhoni as a captain, not just for this series, but for forthcoming ones. Let's see if all that we've talked about, those 3 or 4 critical factors that will actually matter, and will they deliver in this test series. Thanks for watching Cricket Romania. We're going to be back very soon.